All right, everybody. It is June 1917, Eastern Front. That's where we're going to start. Central Power's turn. They've obviously have dug in pretty good. I guess that these ones have to become twos. Forgot all about that. Biggest problem is just trying to find troops to plug the holes that they have over here. Because right now the Russians are the biggest problem, but they do have the Brits knocking on the southern door, and they're knocking over there in Italy. Mosey on over that direction. The Romanians are not a problem. And the Greeks are not a problem. Even though they've joined these allies, they are really limited. They can only go so far, and they've reached the extent of their distance they can go, so they're just kind of like parked, waiting for something to happen. And if the Italians get kicked back into Italy, then, well, they probably just go home. The way I'm looking at it. But the problem is that the Germans just don't have the strength right now. They're getting stretched thin. They're pulling troops down. The numbers they have are getting limited, so they can start plugging holes. And the biggest problem is that they're facing off against the Americans over here. And the Americans punched a bunch of holes in their line that they had tried to form. And they're just, moved some troops in here to, I think it's Stuttgart that they got some troops plugged there. Yeah, Stuttgart there. And this is Cologne, I think, right here. Yeah. So Stuttgart has some troops, Cologne has some troops. But other than that, that's about the best they could do. They can't really go on the attack. If they lose troops, it's a kind of a temporary thing, but, it's like you can't replace things on all the different fronts they have at the moment. They're just trying to recover. So that is the problem. So we'll just have to see what happens with the Allies. The Allies are having problems too, because, you look over here, the British have lost a bunch of troops, the Russians have lost troops. The Americans have a few. They're recovering after their big assault that they had. And, then it's the moving troops around because of limited resources when it comes to transports and supply. So it's looking like maybe Italy might have to be the way to go, is take them out so they can use them as a supply line over into France. That will free up, lots of troops in the beginning, so they can turn around and rush all kinds of Americans into the line. So we'll just see what happens. All right, we'll be back. Everybody, it is June 1917, Eastern Front, Allies. And the Russians are really hammering right here. They did a massive attack right here, and they lost some corps here and here, but they did completely wipe out the Germans that were parked there. And then they did an assault right here with 3 corps, as you can see. And they did pretty good. They took out the Germans, and one was demoralized and fell back to there. So we have basically kind of a weakened state there. They did do an assault right here, took some losses. Now they did attack right there with these 3 corps right here. You can see this corps is like hammered hard. There's only one left. As you can see, a lot of casualties. The Russians got repelled. The Germans held their line right there. So that was the one saving grace, the entire line right there, is that the Germans are holding on because, they're dug in pretty good. But they have 2 holes now, here and here. And they got to figure out a way to plug them. So that's the biggest problem they have on the Eastern Front. Now, let's roll over to the Austrian Corps, where the battle is still being waged over top of Austria, where it used to be. Brunswick, which is right here. The Germans had taken that one and was trying to hold the line right there. And that unit just got taken out. But as you can see, there is some dead British in the assault. So they did lose some corps in the process of taking that. That wasn't so good. Now the other battle was right here. There used to be a blocking force of Germans right here. They did assault with the British, and one was demoralized, fell back, and the British lost a corps also taking that one. There was right here some Italians. The British attacked through the mountains. Actually did fairly well. They just wiped out it was pretty much the weakest Italian units you could find. We're holding it right there, and they got taken out pretty easily. But, you know, they still got to slog it through all the mountainous areas trying to get to Italy. So it's like you got a front right there moving towards Prague. Then the British have a unit right here, the war. They're heading for Munich and Nuremberg. So there is a three-front prong going here, trident, and then the other one is trying to go along here to connect up with France. Just wish that we could have some help from these guys. But, you know, they're stuck like Chuck. Now, the Americans, they did move some units over here, connected up here, and assaulted into Marseille. And it was the weakest of the Italian units that were on garrison duty over here. I think this is the Cav that's still left, which is interesting. The one that the best attack the Americans had demoralized them. It was a bad roll. It was like a 5-1 attack and -2, and ended up being just a demoralization. But they did destroy the other one, and I think they lost. Yes, they did lose a corps, army, or division. Actually, there's their divisions in the process of taking at them. Now, over here, I think this was Strasbourg. Yeah, right there. The Americans did attack right there at Strasbourg. Did take it. Take them out. Lost a couple corps in the process of taking that fort out. Because it was lightly defended. Because the Germans are just stretched as far as possible, just trying to make a line someplace. That's the biggest problem they're having right now. But they did take Strasbourg. So the Americans are marching into German territory. Luxembourg. There was a dug-in German units right here in Luxembourg. The 3 corps right here did attack. There was a loss of 1 American division, but they did take out the German units that were dug in Luxembourg. Now, there was a pretty big attack right here on the German units that were dug in right there. Americans, I think, lost 2 divisions in the process, but they did take out the Germans that were there. So, there's a pretty big butcher bill right now. As you can see, there's lots and lots of dead right here. Everybody is piling up, especially the Germans, because they just can't replace their guys. And the complimentary musty drink of the night as I am playing my game. Alright. I think that is it. Oh, no, we're not done. We have to do War Weariness. It's June, so we're going to roll over here. War Weariness, we don't have to worry about the weather because it's clear. At least till October. Then we have to worry about it in October. Alright, War Weariness. We'll start off with Germany. They still have Berlin. They haven't lost but 1 major city. So they have a +1 now. Alright, so Germany has a +1. Anything else? Okay, no. There's +2. Alright. Because it's been over 15 months now. So at 15 months, we have a +1. Alright, everybody's getting tired of the war. Alright, the Germans, well, they're fine. They rolled a 4, which becomes a 6, which is no effect. So they're back up to 20 replacement points at the moment. Nope. They lost Königsberg, so they are at 19. Alright. And the Austrians, Ottomans, Bulgarians, France, Italy. Italy has just a +1. They still have everything. So Italy, +1 is a 10. Reduced by 30%. Reduce artillery by 1. Uh-oh, that's not good. Alright, so they do have 6, and they're going to lose 30%, so yeah, that's not going to be good. They're going to lose 2. So they're going to make it really hard for them to continually to rebuild their stuff. Alright, Britain. Okay, we got submarine warfare now in effect, which is +1. We got Americans in the war, so that's a -1, so that's a net of 0, and just a war weariness. And we rolled a 3, +1 is 4, so no effect. Russia. Alright. This is interesting. They have St. Petersburg. They have... Wait a minute. They have 1 city. That's Lodz. They haven't captured that back, so they don't have any minuses. Pluses to the die roll. Open link to Russia is open, so there's a -1. War weariness makes it +1, so it's a net roll of 0. Alright, roll a die, a 4. So roll a 4. So they don't have any problems. The only ones that are having problems right now is Italy. Italy has a -3% and 1 artillery. That's going to be interesting. We're just going to have to see what happens with those guys. All right. We'll be back.